what we are going to answer tonight. And then from there, so that we may not take much time, we are going to give a few people who want to share something with us, a few people who want to share their life story concerning gender-based violence. So we are going to give them that opportunity so that they can also, we can also see that in reality, there are people who are going through these kind of things, and they have managed to heal from them, and they are doing well, they are doing fine, even despite what has happened to them. So my name is Eliud Gogi. I am a counseling psychologist. I'm also the founder of Newness Counseling Organization, and I'm going to take you through our session today, just briefly, as I have mentioned. So we'll go straight to the first topic, or to the first question, which I felt is a question of concern, and we need to ask ourselves, why is it that people who love one another, people who have fallen in love, chanda na pete, they have started fighting and they cannot withstand seeing each other. They want to kill each other. They want to hurt each other. So what happens? Why do people get to that point? That's why I thought it would be good that we can look at the question, why do people in love really fight and hurt each other? It is very common in any relationship, whether it is parent-child relationship, parent-parent relationship, whether it is in a group, whether it is a church, a group somewhere, wherever it is. But any place that more than two people meet, you can be sure there's going to be there's going to be opinions that do not really match. That's a fact. There's going to be varying opinions, varying suggestions, varying ideas. Because especially when we encourage people to be themselves, when we encourage people to be the authentic self, we always tell them that be real, speak out your mind, say what you're thinking, say what you're feeling, speak out your views. So if everybody was to speak out their view, then definitely those views will be as many as the number of people are in that specific group. So in every relationship, you come to realize that there will always be differing views. There will always be some viewpoints that do not really match. The husband has his own way of seeing things. The wife has his own idea and his own way of seeing things. So in every relationship, there will always be disagreements and misunderstandings. But the question is, why are these normal and common misunderstandings and disagreements maturing into chaos, maturing into violence, maturing into something that is going to result into bloodshed? I want to take the approach of saying this, that when two people meet, when two people are in love, the moment they are fusing together or they are meeting together, because they have not really gotten the opportunity to deeply know each other, they have a very shallow way of thinking that everything is going to be as it is at that particular moment. They think that things are not going to change. They think that it's always going to be a Christmas, not Christmas, but honeymoon. They think that it's always going to be a day of celebration. But in reality, they bride themselves to the reality that things changes in a relationship. Relationships usually follow through series, seasons. There's time that everything is okay. You are all together. You are all in love. There's no fighting. There's no disagreements, and everything is okay. But that phase does not last forever. That is just a phase. It's just a season. So what matters the most is for the couples to ask themselves, now, today, we are at peace, we are okay, simply because we are saying to each other, I love you. You know, we are praying around, everything seems to be okay. Both of us can see the happily ever after happening. Both of us can see us growing old together. Now, at this particular moment, they need to ask themselves now, because the reality is that things are not always going to be like this. What shall we do when things change? And that is why I remember, I think either the first or second session I told you that we need to change the vows. We need to ask, even during the vows, the couples need to ask themselves, it's not really for good that really matters, but for the worse. This for the worse. We need to define the worse, and we need to ask ourselves, what skills do we have to be able to go through the worst times in a relationship? So the reason why couples fight, why two people who have fallen in love, madly in love fight, is because after some time, they start becoming individualistic. They start, they do not have room anymore to listen to the other person. They get to a point where selfishness starts kicking in. And this especially happens when one of the member in that relationship feels like they are either being dragged behind, or they are not, their lives are not doing as better as the other partner, such things. So when such selfish mindsets start setting in the relationship, then these couples will always fight, because they have stopped fighting from the same side. They have stopped fighting from the same angle. Because in a relationship, it should be like this, that we have a problem, so it is me and you against the problem, not us against each other, and the problem is seated somewhere, enjoying its whiskey, laughing at us, fighting each other instead of fighting the problem. Because I imagine that is always the situation. Like two couples have a disagreement. And then, badala ya solve ile shida yenye wako nayo, instead of solving the problem at hand, they start fighting each other instead of looking for solutions to the problem at hand. So I always believe that if the specific problem was a person, probably the problem would sit somewhere in a couch and then put one leg on top of the other, relax, bed, backwards on the sofa, and then just ask for a bottle of whiskey, and then, as it is enjoying watching, the problem is watching the couples fight each other instead of actually fighting the problem. When now this kicks in, these guys must fight, and they have no room to allow the other partner to accommodate the views and the ideas of the other person. So that is one of the major reasons. And what I can say also as I go to the next question, because as I mentioned, today we are just doing a recap, but I thought it is very important that we can touch on those key aspects that are one of the major causes of gender-based violence. So when now there's no misunderstanding, that's where you start saying the husband say, that the husband will start saying that, Mimi, my wife no longer understands me. I would rather go and speak with a friend who is not going to judge me, because my wife is always judging me. I would rather come from work and then go to a club, stay there for 5 hours, and then go home smelling like a man, naenda ukinuka mwanaume. So it is because the environment that these two guys have created at home is no longer conducive and healthy enough for both of them to feel at home. That there's one person who is feeling this is the wrong environment for me. The climate, the vibe, what is happening with this environment, it's not allowing them to stay there or to have peace of mind. So in a relationship, we always need to have it in mind that it's not always going to be evergreen. It's not always going to be honeymoon. It's not always going to be, marriages and kisses and hugs and all that. There will be times when things are not really working between the two of you. And as we always say, if you have rats in your house, what do? You don't burn the house. You kill the rats and then you stay in your house because you're the one who built the house. So if you're having disagreements and misunderstandings in a relationship, you don't kill the relationship, you resolve the problem. But if need be, you can take a break. If you feel that these things, the climate is getting too hot in the relationship, always take a break. Separate for a moment, and then go resolve your personal issues. Because this is what I always say: in a relationship that is dysfunctional is a clear indication of dysfunctional intra-relationships. Let me repeat that for you. Any interpersonal relationship that is dysfunctional is a clear indicator of an intrapersonal dysfunctional relationship. If your relationship with the other person is not working, the problem is not between you and the other person. The problem is between you and your relationship. What is happening within you is what is affecting outside relationships. Because if everyone can have a functional, healthy, accommodative and non-judgmental and loving and caring relationship with themselves, everybody has that kind of a relationship, then that means that every other external relationship would manifest, would reflect the kind of internal relationships that we have with ourselves. So if your external relationship is not working, focus on your internal relationship. That could be the root cause of the bigger problem. So that we can leave room for questions, I want to go straight to the second question, which is one of my major concerns tonight. I've had this question very, very much in so many forums. Mbona hakutoka? Why didn't she just leave him? Why didn't he just leave her? She was abused. She has been abused for 2 years. Why wasn't she leaving? He has been abused for 10 years. He has been emotionally and sexually, and men actually, they are sexually abused. That's why I told you when we were talking about types of types of gender-based violence, we talked about sexual abuse, and I told you sexual abuse is not just rape. So in a relationship where conjugal rights are supposed to be mandatory, and then one of the partner is denied the conjugal rights, then that guy is being abused. So in a relationship where now the husband is being denied the conjugal rights, that is sexual abuse. It's just like the way you could be, it's just like socioeconomic abuse. Because when we talk about socioeconomic abuse, we are talking about a relationship whereby economically you are being abused to a point that when you ask for money, when you ask for resources, necessary resources that you require for basic needs, they are not available. So when you are denied something, that is also a form of abuse. So men are also sexually abused. Wananyimwa, they are denied their conjugal rights. You're in a relationship, and then your wife tells you, it's either you do this or for the next 2 weeks or 1 week, hakuna. For the next 3 weeks, hakuna, sikupai kabisa. Nothing. You are not going to see it. You are not going to smell it. You are not going to feel it. You are not going to touch it. You are not going to do anything to it. That is sexual abuse. And now when somebody is being abused in a relationship, so the major question that people ask is, why didn't this woman just leave him? And now today I want us to explore that answer, to explore that question. And also during the question and answer section, I would also like you from the other end also to contribute to this based on why you feel people really don't leave. But number one, it's always easier from the outside than it is from the inside. Just like when somebody succeeds and you are like, just succeeding, just climbing up the veranda. He's the CEO. See, you can just become a CEO just in a time, So how did that guy get there? It's quite easy. Just climbing up there. It's always easier from the outside than it is from the inside. And remember, it is always easier said than done. So the person who is looking at the issue from the outside thinks that it's not as bad, you just leave. But what you don't see is the emotional attachment between these two people, the dependency level, because there are relationships to most people which have become a drug. You're in a relationship, but that relationship is like it's a drug to you. You are addicted to that person. And I always tell people, if somebody ever sings this song, I'm addicted to you. I'm addicted to you. Please run. Wacha amalize. Let that person conclude that song ukiwa kwenu, ukiwa kwa mamako, ukiwa umejifunika na blanket. Why? Because somebody who is addicted to you, you can be sure they are going to behave with you just like the way someone who is addicted to a drug is going to behave to a drug. They are going to take you every day. That means that they are going to suck your energy. They are going to drain you. This person cannot be dependent, because when it comes to drugs, when somebody is addicted to a drug, they have both compulsiveness and which is the other one? Obsessiveness. Good. They have compulsiveness, that is compulsive use, you can't stop. And then we have the obsessiveness. You cannot do without it. So if somebody cannot do without you, then you are a drug to that person, and you should learn before that person gets addicted completely. Because this is the kind of relationships where that if you dare to mention that you are going to leave this person, they will tell you it is either I have you or nobody has you. If you are not mine, then you are nobody. You are nobody's. So if you dare to leave that relationship, that person would rather kill you than let you go and be with someone else. And you know, some of these things in these relationships, because relationships have become the slaughterhouses, romantic relationships have become the slaughterhouses where people are getting slaughtered. So some of these red flags and some of these destructive statements, they're usually presented as innuendos. They are usually presented as sweet statements, like it's romance. And then somebody out there, a guy is thinking, well, imagine he told me that he is addicted to me. Oh, how romantic, how cutesy. What is the other one? There was a thing which was trending. Si mtu anitext hapo. Sijui kitse, sijui demiaro. Is it demiaro ama it is demur? Those things. So, you know, when somebody is, yes, demure, yes, Faith, thank you for demuring. Another one, there were three, I think, cutesy, demure, and mindful. Thank you. So when somebody tells you, I'm addicted to you, you're like, oh, I can only love. That's so romantic. But that's a red flag. Somebody who is addicted to you, you should run away, because that somebody is going to suck the life out of you. That person is going to demand and crave for your attention. That somebody is going to want you to be, you know, those kind of things. So they are really going to depend on you for everything. Someone else who tells you you are my everything, also run. Kibia, be a Kipchoge, run. Somebody who tells you you are my everything, that means that that person cannot do without you. So some of these things in a relationship, we need to really be keen on them. We need to be careful, because a relationship should give you room to breathe. A healthy romantic relationship should give you a room to be yourself. You should have the room to be independent, to pursue your goals and dreams without being told, you know, you are a woman, you just stay in the house and cook for the kid and change them the diapers and that's your life. No. Before you got married, you had dreams. Before you got married, you had a vision. You had things that you wanted to do with your life. A romantic relationship should not disable that. A romantic relationship should make that happen. So if in a relationship you are feeling like you are in a jail, you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have freedom of thought, you don't have freedom of expression, you cannot express yourself, then you are in slavery. And now what I was saying is, the people from the outside, they don't see some of those things that are in the relationship. You think, she should just leave. You know, he should just leave her because he or she is being abused. But the kind of toxic attachments that are in the present relationships are very dangerous. You are attached to somebody such that you can even worship them to get 100 shillings. To maintain peace, you worship them, you kneel down to them, you beg them as if they are a god to you. That is danger. So people are so desperate, especially when they are getting into relationships. You are so desperate. My clock is ticking. Whose clock? You can get married in your 60s and still enjoy this life. You'd rather be single and happy than married and married in hell, you know? So there are so many things that are happening within the relationship that are not visible to the external world. The kind of attachment, toxic attachments that are in the relationship that are hooking this person and enslaving this person who you think should live, but they cannot live. Number two, there's a lot of fear that comes with living an abusive person, but people always braid themselves to this. There's a very, very strong fear that comes with getting away from an abusive person. Why? Because number one, you are afraid that after you've left this person is actually going to come after you and even kill you or even abuse you, even worse. Because now this guy has nothing to lose. These are the kind of guys who will tell you, if I've lost you, then I would also rather die. I have nothing else to lose. So most victims of domestic violence and gender-based violence, one of the major reasons why they don't leave is because they are afraid of their lives, what is going to happen when they walk out of that relationship. Majority of them are also stalking. This guy you've left or this woman you've left, this person sends spies and other people to follow you everywhere that you are going. Because he wants to know the next person who is going to date you. And you are even afraid of dating someone else because you are afraid. This guy is a narcissist. This guy is a serial killer. This guy is a murderer. This guy is most likely even going to kill anybody without a second thought. So you are even afraid of getting to another relationship because this guy can kill the person that you're going to get in a relationship with. So that fear makes most victims of domestic violence to stay in abusive relationships. Number three, we also have fear of making it alone without this person. And this is where now I'm telling you that in a relationship, you should not be 100% dependent on the person who you are in a relationship with. Because anything can happen. Kinaweza umana. In Chinese, we say, it can come, it did not sleep. It can come, it did not sleep. Yani kunaweza amuka asubuhi mambo huko umefikiria itakuja, upate imekuraukia. So you need to cultivate a level of dependence, independency, not dependency, but independency. You can be able to depend on yourself. That is why I'm saying that in a relationship as a lady, especially ladies, don't be so dependent on that guy such that everything that you want, you're asking from him. You see? When you are initiating the relationship, wakati mnaanza mahusiano, when the marriage is young, when the relationship is young, that can happen. You can find yourself in a position where you are a housewife, and you don't have a side hustle, you don't have anything else. That could happen for most of the relationship or marriages. That happens within the first five years. The first 5 years that can happen. But with the time, you need even to start a small business. You'd rather start a small business that is earning you 300 per day as profit, and by the end of the day, you won't ask for 10 bob ya kununua chumvi ikiisha kwa nyumba. You won't ask this guy to give you 100 bob to buy sanitary pads. If you have a child and then mtoto ame mess and then there's no diaper, you don't have to call this guy from the office. If there's nothing he left in the morning to tell him diaper imeisha. You see, I'm saying that can happen at the early stages of a relationship, but a healthy relationship with the time cultivates independent partners that we can you, and actually even personally in any relationship that I'm in, whether as a husband, whether as a friend, whether as an employer, I always try to cultivate independency among the people that I'm associating with. I'll be so much happier if I know that my wife can live a healthy life without me. If I know that if I died today, she will do fine. My kids will not suffer. That should be the kind of husband every man should be. That you're not jealous of your wife when she is making more than you. You should be happy because she is doing good. The only time you should not be happy is when she is using those resources now to manipulate you and also to abuse you and also to show you that she is the man in the house. But in a healthy romantic relationship where love is the foundation, as a man, you should be happy when your wife is earning something. When your wife can go and do some small business here, some job here and there, and then she can come home. Wewe unakuja na yako, anakuja na yake, mnaweka kwa kikapu moja. That should be the healthy relationship. But this other relationship where you are being lied to as ladies, you know, you are my baby girl. I don't want you to dirty, you know, sitaki uchafue makucha yako. I don't want your fingernails to be dirty. I don't want you to do anything. I'm even going to employ somebody who is going to change the diapers of the baby because I don't want your fingers to touch those poo-poos of the, you know, you're even calling them poo-poos, those poo-poos of the baby, you know. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to relax at home. You are a beautiful baby girl. I should treat you like a queen. Well, fine, get treated like a queen. But the day he decides you are not, you are the queen. You are not a queen anymore. You are the devil in the house. That is the day you realize that instead of that what was happening was not love. Because the day this guy decides to drop you like hot chocolate, you have nowhere to go. You cannot even feed yourself for a day. You cannot even know where to start looking for a job. So what I'm saying is, we need to cultivate independency while still cultivating togetherness and unity in a relationship. That if I died today, my family would be fine. Not through begging my other family members to you know, to feed them and take care of them. No, but probably I have started like a business somewhere, and I know even if I was gone, I died today, there's a business that can feed my family. So what I'm saying is that these kind of toxic attachments, dependency in a relationship, that is what is making some of victims stay in traumatizing and violent relationships. Because this person cannot see themselves living without this other person. Why? Because this is the person who pays the rent. This is the person who feeds us. This is the person who pays school fees, you know. And now because of all that, you can't see yourself making it out there without this person. Now, what are you forced to do? You're forced to stay. So that is one other major reason why people decide to stay in abusive relationships. But one thing that I always say is this: if you can have confidence in yourself, if you can believe in yourself, there are thousands, if not hundreds or millions of single mothers making it out there by themselves. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of single fathers out there making it in their, you know, in their life, taking care of their families and their kids, but they decided to walk away from toxic relationships. You'd rather start from zero instead of stay in a toxic relationship where your life is threatened. You'd rather leave that relationship, take your kids, you have kids, take them to your mother, because I don't think your mother chased you out of your home. But even if your mother doesn't accept you, just look for a friend who can host you for a few months. If that doesn't work, just look for a, you know, kibarua. And then go somewhere that you can live in a single room, which you are paying maybe even 1,000 or 2,000 per month. And especially when you are in an abusive relationship, when you are in a toxic relationship, it doesn't just happen overnight. There's no way we can wake up today, and then you can wake up today and then your husband decides to chop you off, to chop you, you know, kukatakata. And then to chop off your fingers, to chop off your head, to chop off your hand. No, that cannot happen. This is something that has been cooking over time. So when you start seeing red flags in a relationship, and you realize that this guy is not willing to change and be better and treat me better and stop being abusive, then anza kujipaga mdogo mdogo. Unaona ile lipa mdogo mdogo ya Safaricom. Sasa na wewe anza hiyo, use the same strategy. Anza kujipanga mdogo mdogo. Okay, that day when you're given 200 to go and buy, you know, breakfast and lunch, use 160, save 40 bob. Do that for a whole 1 year. If that guy is not that abusive, because again, there's a relationship which you cannot wait until you save. Because if this guy is killing you, you need to walk away. But if you realize there's a trend, this guy is getting worse. So you are like, before this mess becomes something that I can't walk away from, then let me start saving something. such that after 1 year, I will have saved 10,000, and this 10,000 will enable me to move into a single room, which I'll be able to pay maybe for 2 months, because I'll be paying the single room maybe 1,000 or 2,000. I'll pay for 2 months, and then the other 2,000 I will use it, for food and that. And then within the first 3 months, I believe I will have got a job. Even if utakuwa mama fua, even if you go work somewhere in a construction site, even if you become a house help, but if you can decide ujipange mudogo mudogo, so that now by the time you realize that this guy totally cannot change and he's not willing to change, don't die in that relationship, because the relationship is not of greater importance than you. You are greater than that romantic relationship. So if the relationship is breaking, save yourself. Save yourself. The relationship would rather go down, but don't let yourself go down. Because before that relationship, you are a whole human being, you are a happy person, you are doing fine. So that means that even after that relationship, you can still do fine. I want to conclude by saying, so that we can have time for questions, I want to conclude by saying this: let us not judge people who are victims of gender-based violence. Let us not discriminate people who are victims of gender-based violence. You may think that it is easy because it's just walking away, but it is not as easy as you think. There's more than what meets the eye. Domestic violence in a relationship is just like an iceberg. You think what you see above the surface is all there is, but below the surface, it is 10, 100, 1,000 times bigger than what you see above the surface. So if we can be able to create a helping environment, if we can be able to create a safe space where these people who are victims of domestic violence are able to feel accepted, they are able to feel loved and cared for, they will be able to open up and heal. Because if you are still judging them as a society, if we are still discriminating them as a society, we are messing our society up. And there's no way we can have victims of domestic violence building up a society. There's no way we can have victims of domestic violence creating a healthy society. What we are going to have is a sick society, which is going to bring up sick kids, the kids who are going to bring up sick generations. And then we start asking ourselves, where did the rain beat us? Where did we go wrong? We went wrong when we decided that instead of now cultivating communalism, instead of seeing the other person as you, because that is one of the major problems. That is what brings division in the society. This is me and that is you. This is mine and that is yours. That idea of this belongs to me and that belongs to you is one of the major problems. If we can be able to treat the other person as you, because the reality of this life is, I am you and you are me. If you hurt me, most likely karma comes back to you, and then it hurts you. So if you can be able to treat everybody else with love, what is going to come to you is love. I remember the other day I told you that the things that we see happening in our lives are a reflection of what we have given out. So what you give is what you receive. If you give love, you receive love. If you give happiness, you receive happiness. If you give violence and pain and suffering to others, that is exactly what is reflected back to you. So if you do not like the kind of lives that we are living, let us not concentrate more on changing the outward or the outside environment. Let us focus on changing the inside environment. And as I told you, you are not as innocent. If you are in a domestic violent environment, you are not as innocent as you think. You have done something to contribute to that, even if it is just keeping quiet and enabling that person to continue stirring up violence. Just being an enabler, just briding yourself and not facing the reality and not accepting things as they are, saying to yourself, I can change him, I can change her, I know where to touch her, I know which button to touch, I know which button to press. You are the one who will be pressed in your neck with a knife before you press that button of changing him or changing her. So let us cultivate healthy interpersonal relationship through cultivating healthy intrapersonal relationships. Don't get into a relationship if you are wounded. Don't get into a relationship if you have psychological wounds that you have not been able to heal. What is going to happen? You are going to breed into that relationship. You are going to hurt the person that you are going to meet in that relationship. Because what happens in any relationship is what the partners have brought into the relationship. If the relationship is a source of your happiness, it is because the two of you brought happiness into that relationship. If the relationship is a source of misery and suffering, it is because either one of you or the two of you, you brought in misery and suffering in that relationship. So let us cultivate our wholeness. Before we get into romantic relationships, let us not be in a hurry to get into romantic relationships, so that we can be able to understand and know the other person. You may not really be able to know the other person 100%, but you will be keen. You will be watchful. You will not be able to braid yourself when there's something happens that is fishy, when there's something happens that is an indicator of something dangerous or something chaotic that can happen in the future. I want to conclude at that point, and I have just concluded. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a wonderful audience. This, I believe, has been an amazing and a life-changing experience. Even personally, when I teach, I also learn. Sometimes I learn from myself, because I also like learning from myself. So every time that I'm talking, sometimes even what I had prepared on the slide, I may end up saying more than that. So thank you so much for those who have stuck with us from the beginning, from on Monday. Now we are on Saturday. So Friday. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. Because if only one person showed up, maybe probably me and the two and the three moderators, and then we found it's only us who are here, it would have been really a difficult time that we would have had. So thank you so much, everyone. Back to you, Jacinta, Marcela, and Mary.
Wow. What a powerful conclusion. Eddie, that was very powerful, and we are grateful. I want to pass it to Jacinta so that we can give those people who want to share. I know there are people who are chatting their questions, but I would want the person who was ready to share to take it up, and then Eliud will address the questions as they come in the chat. Jacinta, if you can hear me?
Yes, Marcela, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much, Eliud. That was super packaged and well received from my end, yes, and the audience as well. Let me take this opportunity to invite Cecilia Matata to bring on board to share an experience, a lifetime experience in a way, a real life situation that we may learn from it. And actually, I'm calling her on board because she is in the healing process, and at least she can talk about it very comfortably, and she's conquering. Yes, Cecilia Karibu, let's clap for her, clap to invite her on stage. Cecilia Karibu, unmute, please. Cecilia Matata.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching me live on YouTube. So kindly allow me not to end the live stream, so that the person who wants to share their story, you can hear it, and also probably stuck with me to the end of the session.
Hello, Madam. I hope and the audience.
Hello, we can hear you, though your network somehow shaky.
All right.
Yeah, I have a network.
So you can tell me whether you can chat me.
Now we can hear you.
Chat. Kindly tell me whether you can hear the person who is sharing their story.
Okay, my name is Cecilia, and here's my story on how I faced GBV. Most of my story is from domestic violence. And as I start, I'd like Eliud at I end for him to tell me whether it was my problem or not, of whether I contributed to the story or I didn't. That will come at the conclusion after I have shared my story. It's a story that I have faced it primarily and secondarily. Primarily is where myself I faced it directly, and then secondarily is where I faced it through somebody else. I'll first share how I faced it, directly most women and other people around me. My story starts at a small village in Makueni. I share my story only on the GBV side. When I was growing up in a village where most people were not educated by then. And women were just married through the cultural ways. Most of them were forced into the marriages that I came to realize of it as I was growing up. Something that used to hit me every night was most of the women, you could hear them crying. If it was not 2 or 3, if one day one of my neighbor cries, the next day it will be 2 of them, not excluding my own mom. I couldn't get because I was growing up. I used to take it as what bit was normal in marriages. I remember one day in class 2, I had to question my mom why dad used to beat her almost every day. The answer she gave me was, whenever she tried to ask my dad of support, either food or our school fee, it could turn to violence. I could hear my dad quarreling in the middle of the night while he was drunk. And there was nothing I could do by then because I was very much fearing him. And actually I was not fearing my dad. I was fearing every man I used to find along the way. Because I used to know every man beats their wives and they are harsh to their kids. And then I asked my mom whether when he doesn't ask my dad about support, anything happens. And she said, if she fails to ask, there was no any issue that came up. But when she didn't ask for any support, we could live without food for like a day or 2 because my mom was a housewife and she was not allowed by then to seek any job hata kama ni kibarua. That continued until one day I came to why mom used to face that problem. Just to come to realize my dad was not my biological dad. He was my stepdad. I don't know who told me about it, but I didn't show my mom or my dad I knew that I was not their child. Maybe my big bro told me, but I don't know who told me that. In class, this went by until when now I felt like this is too much. I was in class 6 and then my neighbor, my children from the neighborhood, they used to tell me in class, we had mom and dad quarreling. We had your mom crying. We know that ni wa mkula usiku. Because when they were quarreling, they could shout and everyone in the village could hear. Then one day I approached my dad and I asked him, why is it that he'll always beat my mom? And at the same time for school fees and some pen and a book, the response I received was, you are not my daughter. And there's nothing I can do to help you in your education. And if you are not one of the children that I'm raising, I could provide you, but because you are here, I can't. In class 6 is when I started to talk in class. I don't know how it happened. But yes, I used to be in anger of how my mom was being beaten. And I used to tell myself that Cecilia, one day, I should read to a point where I am able to support myself, not to depend on any man. I grew up being feminine. I used to hate men. Actually, I can say I was a feminist until my 4th year in campus. Because I used to know every man is chaotic. When I was in class 7, 2013, my elder brother passed on of suicide. Up to today, I don't know why he did it. But I know after he did his KCPE, he used to be sad all the time. Up to a point when he had to take the medicine, take his life away. Things escalated as my brother passed away. It was now hard. Dad was not even having time for me. Everything changed from my mom's side of violence from dad to me. It's like I had to face the whole family violence. I repeated class 7 because my dad, who did pay my registration amount 400 shillings, he said that was not enough. I am grateful that my mom at the same time got a job. Not a job, she started a small business so she could be able to support me and my siblings in our education. At least I was not telling my dad anything. And yes, my life changed in class 7 and class 8. I was able to receive everything that I wanted because mom was having a small business. At least I had a decent uniform for once. School fees, they don't pay. I started passing my exams. I became the top student in our class back in 2015 KCPE results. I was waiting for my dad to change, but things always got worse for myself. So you are not my daughter. Not that doing school. You can and help your mom to raise the other kids. I cried in front of my mom. It was my last time to be in front of her in high school because I realized I was hurting her. I knew that at least the money I knew in his account 50K, but he could take even a penny to support me joining my high school. I joined high school with a heartache that I'll never forget because he never slapped my mom in front of me because of my mom talking of I should be taken to school because I had passed well. I'm grateful to light up hope. It came through when I was in term 2 Form 1 and I got a scholarship to high school. Getting the scholarship changed. Every time I was only my distance hurt me. Most I said I go to school with enough money, with enough pocket money. That's small, but could not take care of us.
Cecilia, your network is still not very good. Cecilia?
Yes?
Your network is not quite stable.
Yes.
But we are getting you. Though inakatika kidogo. Just continue.
Yeah. In school, and the exam was getting worse, but all in all, my dad, even us. From 4 years, I have not had to see that I never was in campus doing a degree. Actually going home, I need to go back where I started, where my trauma started. This affected me in my campus and daily 3.1. I a scholarship. I didn't understand what was happening until I had to seek guidance and counseling for some of my lecturers, two of them, and Jacinta, the Councillor of the Pope, Kelly, the President, and talk with Madam Victoria. Through talk with Jacinta, I realized that I had traumas, which are leading me to depression. Something that the scholarship don't know, the organization don't know, is that I had my fourth year because I felt that I could not anymore. But through the counseling, I had deferred, but my lecturers had of putting it down. I was not able to defer. Through the counseling, I was able to talk about everything that I went through in my childhood up to my campus. I was able to know how to know about conflict resolution, different ways of problem solving, and ways of handling stress.
I think Cecilia actually network dropped. Meona kama drop. She's no longer in here. I think it's the same network challenge that has dropped her, but I think she will be back soon. Though she was actually concluding that she did not know actually what was happening with her. Personally, I've witnessed that again and again. She was in constant conflict with every form of authority, back to back. And again, when you sit her down, you find out it's a child in crisis. She does not understand what exactly is happening with her. Pole just to realize that piled up issue that actually emerges from her childhood. Eliud, Cecilia asked, okay, she seeks to know whether in any way she could have contributed to the abuse. I don't know what actually is running through her mind, because this is not the first time she's asking this. Could I have contributed in any way to receive this kind of a treatment? Because she was talking and she was like, I'm going to grant it. And there's no plan, like nothing is happening. Even akubalishwe hata kufanya bash nyumbani, and it's kind of again getting her back to the same feeling. So she wants to be empowered to cope, or else to how to navigate through this, the kind of patriarchal society we are living in. So I know she's joining back. So Eliud, you can respond to that as I admit some people here.
All right. So Jacinta, thank you for that. So I don't know whether we could probably wait for her to come back so that we can respond to that, because if she can come back and then I can respond to that in her presence, then I think it can.
She's here.
She's here.
I can see her.
All right, good.
But she can confirm if she can hear us.
Okay. All right. So now.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. Welcome back, Cecilia. Now, Cecilia, your case is being a victim as a child, and this is what happens. Some decisions and choices that parents make do not only affect them, but they also affect the kids. So what happened in your case? There's nothing, literally nothing, that you did to deserve or to go through the kind of violence or the abuse that you witnessed and you went through. So why I was saying the kind of people that I'm saying that they are not as innocent are those people who are in a romantic relationship. That is why we were talking about romantic relationships. That's why I was saying that if there's abuse or violence in a romantic relationship, it's not always 100% that you are contributing to the abuse, but in most cases you find either you are starting it, or you are enabling it, or you are triggering it, or you are doing something in the background that maybe you're even not aware of it. Maybe sometimes even thinking it is a normal response, but in reality it is what is starting the anger from the other person to abuse you. That mostly happen in romantic relationships. But a child who goes through abuse has nothing to do with the abuse. I would say that the kind of abuse that you went through was as a result of the irresponsibility of your father. That your dad now, the one that, with time you came to be told that, he is not your biological father. His irresponsibility is what made you go through that kind of violence. You had nothing to do with it. You never contributed to it with in any way, because as a child you never requested those guys to bring you here on earth. It was they were in the middle of their business, and then you happened. So you are their responsibility. And so if your father has to stir up violence at home simply because he has been requested or asked to play his role or fulfill his responsibility as a father in the house, then he is the one with the problem. He has a problem. He is the problem in the whole story. Because a man in any relationship, if you don't have the money that is required, and I remember you have even mentioned at some point he had the money was there, but intentionally he chose not to help. He chose not to take care of the family and do the responsibilities that are required, like school fees and all that. So you had nothing to do with it. That is number one. And number two, never, even for a moment, blame yourself for what happened. Never blame yourself for what happened. Don't ever even live in shame, because you should not be ashamed of something you are not responsible for. You should not be ashamed of something that you have not done. You have not caused yourself. So he did that to you, and now you suffered. So don't feel shame, don't feel responsible, don't feel guilty. What I could say, you don't even have to forgive him if you don't want to, because I don't want you to start telling you, just maybe probably you could tell us, I don't want to start telling you should forgive him. No. That's up to you to decide. If you feel you are okay without forgiving him, and you can be able to move on with your life peacefully, then go for it. If you have the capacity and the ability to forgive him, then go for it. But everything that happened to you or you are young or you are growing up should not in any way prevent you from becoming what you are supposed to become. It should not become a barrier. It's definitely going to give you a hard time, because you have issues, underlying issues to deal with. You have critical moments, emotional moments, traumatizing moments that are replaying in your mind from time to time, and they are disturbing. They are horrifying, maybe some of them. But the point is, what you need to do is to find your peace. Do that which gives you peace. Do that which makes sure that you are continuing with your life without suffering or pain. If you allow him to cause you pain as you progress in your life, he will have succeeded in his mission. Because if his mission was to make sure that the kids live in pain, and then you don't heal, then you will have helped him to succeed in his mission. So what you can do at this particular time is try by all means possible to not hold on to those moments, to let those moments go. By letting the moment go, I'm not saying that you forget the moment. You cannot forget the moment, and you'll never forget the moment. But the power that you have right now is to decide how those moments, how those experiences are going to affect your life. That's where your power is. Your power is not formatting your thoughts and your memory so that you can forget what happened. That cannot happen. Your power is not in going to demand your dad to say sorry. That's not any of your business. You should not even try to do that because he may never say sorry. So right now, what you should be focusing on is making sure that these experiences that you had that were traumatizing and horrifying do not affect your life negatively. Forget about him. Let him continue with his business the way he wants to learn them. Let him continue with his life, being insensitive and all that. But the most important thing, if you can be able to forgive, because when we forgive those people who have wronged us, we do it for ourselves. We don't do it for them. I'm not forgiving you so that you can, your life can be better. I'm forgiving you so that I can let go the weight of anger and resentment and those other things, that sense of frustration and disappointment that I'm holding on to myself. I want to let go the weight of carrying you as my father because you decided to put me through these horrible experiences. The reason why I'm forgiving you is so that I can feel the relief. Not for you, but I'm doing it for me. And we always say that forgiving is accepting an apology you will never receive. Let me repeat that. That when, Cecilia, you forgive him for what he did, whether it is verbally, you don't even have to go to him, you don't even have to face him, but you have to let that weight go off your shoulders. So when you forgive someone, what you are doing is you are saying yes to an apology they have not given you. Why? For your own peace. You are doing it for you. So let me leave it at that point. But what I'm saying is you had nothing to do with that. Don't feel any shame. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel responsible. That had nothing to do with you. You are 100% victim of an irresponsible father. You are 100% a victim of a father who decided not to play his role as a father or as a father figure in the family. So what you should do is try to heal so that what you went through can build you, can put you on a higher level in life, can skyrocket you forward in life instead of dragging you back where now you cannot be able to progress. Back to you, Jacinta.
Thank you so much, Eliud. Cecilia, very comprehensive and well packaged. You don't need to feel like in any way you contributed or else you participated to make this happen. But the best thing is that you have an opportunity to package yourself very well and move on with life. Right now, you're above 20, you're above 18. He can live his life and live her life. There is another question that she has not brought forth. Cecilia still loves her mom. Her mom is still living in the same abusive environment, and she cannot afford home. She cannot afford visiting home frequently, and the mom may not leave. Okay, so I can see Lucy Jerry has got her hand up. Lucy Jerry, let me give you Lucy Jerry, Rose Lucy Jerry.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I hope you can hear me. So Cecilia's story, it reminds me of my story, and the situation that she's in. I would like to advise her, since she has gotten into another relationship, she should first of all heal from the childhood trauma, because the same story will remain, the same story will keep on repeating. It will be like a circle. So she needs to break the circle first of all, before continuing with any other relationship. Otherwise, she will live in she will continue living in an abusive relationship. Her marriage will continue being a marriage full of, it will be an abusive marriage. And by the time she heals, she will be already a garbage. She will wreck herself because her situation, she has not healed, so she will she will attach herself on her husband, thinking that the love that she never got from her dad, she will get it from her husband or the man that she is living with. And the man will take advantage of Cecilia. Cecilia will keep on depending on that man and will live in abusive marriage, and she won't be able to get out of it. And by the time now she has healed and feel like she now wants to get out of the marriage, it will be too late because there'll be kids involved in that marriage. So my advice is, Cecilia, first of all, heal from the childhood trauma. After you have healed from the childhood trauma, now you can involve yourself into another relationship, or you can involve yourself into marriage. But before marriage, please, 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 my advice is heal from the childhood trauma.
Thank you so much, Rose Lucy. Cecilia, your hand is up, then Monira after Cecilia.
Okay, I don't know whether my network is back to stable. So I don't know where I left. I just found myself that I was not in the meeting. So the only thing I want to say is that I got counseling from the counselor of the Lighter Hope, Madam Jacinta, Madam Victoria, and then the president of the Lighter Hope, Kelly. At least I was able to finish my academics. And if there's a portion of me that has not healed, I'm in the process because I'm still in touch with the counselor, Madam Jacinta. I am happy that after all this, my mom, at least, if not more, at least my mom is at peace, because several occasions I tried to reach out to my dad and tried to, I don't know whether it's confounding or what can I put it. After the first days when I tried to tell him about what he was doing was not right, he could quarrel with my mom, but after sometimes he came to listen to me. But it's like he moved the violence from mom to me, which I can take it because I don't live with him most cases. Not that it ended and I can't say home is conducive for me. It is conducive for other people, but not me, because he already showed it to me in the month of May. Yeah. So I am happy that I am graduating from KU 13th December. I am already in the list. I am happy. I'm graduating as a nurse, degree nurse in public health. I'm also graduating. At the same time, I'm a peer counselor and a mentor to high school students. And I'm a first aider. And the same time, so thank you. And I will come all to my graduation.
Congratulations, Cecilia. I can't believe this. Congratulations. And wishing you the very, very best. Yes, Madam Monira, karibu.
I wanted to say what Cecilia said is about normalizing. It's wife beating is normalized in most cultures. That's why it's still prevalent. I'll tell you, I had a client 30 years ago. He had an anger problem, so he came to me. And when I tried to find out why he was always angry and what was happening in the relationship between him and his wife was highly educated. She was from University of Nairobi, but he used to beat her. Now, when I tried to find out even more about the family, there were 3 brothers and all of them beat their wives. So it's a culture of wife beating, and it's normalized. And then when I asked him, he said, it's normal. Everybody in my family beats their wife. So it's normalized. The second thing I want to say is about dependent personality disorder. You know, Elliot talked about if I lose you, he was talking about some men are manipulative and they are narcissistic, and they tell their wives, if I lose you, I will die, and things like that. But they also have dependent personality disorder. I've seen a lot of these clients in counseling. They have highly dependent personality disorders, and they really can't do without the other person. When that wife goes, they are really finished. So these are the two things I wanted to say. Hello.
Thank you, Munira. Yes, we had.
Hello. Thank you so much, Madam Munira. Yes. Yes, Madam Marcella, can you take us through some chats if there is anything that Cheldido can respond to, then we wrap it?
Yes, there's a question I would want to read from Cynthia, who says, what if you are in the domestically violent environment, but the perpetrators are superior than you, and it is not really your place to step in? What happens then? I think the others are comments. There's a question from Seth. What's the best way to handle depression? I think, Eliud, you can react to that.
Okay, thank you. So maybe the clarity that I would like to get from that, what environment is that? So she has said that you're in a superior environment, and then there's violence, and it is not in your place to step in and maybe talk about it or address it. So is it a work environment? Is it a relationship? Is it, what kind of a relationship could that be? But what I could say, maybe if the person who have asked that question is still here, can give us some clarity on that. Is it a workplace or where is that? So the kind of environment that is. So what I could say is this, that every time that you find yourself in an abusive, toxic relationship, you always have two choices to make. To either stay and absorb the toxin that is being released from the environment, or decide to walk away and find an environment which is healthier. It is always a difficult choice. And if it is a workplace that you have to leave, making a choice to leave a workplace, so that without now having clarity of where you are going next, it's always a challenge. But by the end of the day, you have a choice to make. That's what I always say. Because you can decide to lower your living standards, and so that you can fit in the level, you can be able to live a life which you can afford, being away from that environment. So if it is a workplace, and then maybe your superior is the perpetrator, you have the right to speak out. And if it is not your place to speak out, if you are the one who is being abused, then you walk away. If you are not the one who is being abused, and the person who is being abused is not speaking out as well, you can always find ways, to help that person. You can always ask that person whether they need assistance for you to be able to get someone to help them to walk away from the environment, that environment or the violent person. Or there are so many other ways. You can even just make a call to someone, then tell them, there's this workplace, anonymously. You can help anonymously. There's this workplace I know, and I know there's this person being abused. Please, is there anything that you guys can do to help? But if it is your superior who is an abusive person, and especially if it is a workplace, please, your life is more important than that work. Your life is, your peace of mind is of greater significance than anything that you can engage yourself in, than even your own career. So what I could say about that is, if you can walk away from the relationship, by all means possible, do that. If you have to go, to live a low standard life, if you are living in a one bedroom, you can go to a single room. A life that you can be able to afford, but you have peace of mind. That is always the priority. As I give my answer back to Jacinta or Marcella, I would like to mention something about what Jacinta asked concerning that the mother is still with the abusive father, and Cecilia cannot avoid going home. She has to go home. What I can say about this is, if your parent, if your mother, if your father has decided to stay in an abusive relationship, no matter how much you love them, There's nothing you can do to help if they don't need your help. The only thing you can do is to cultivate your own peace of mind, your own peace, your own serenity, and let them be. The only thing that you can do is suggest to help. You can tell your mom, I think that, this is what I can see. I think dad is abusing you by this, through these means, and I think you should walk away. That's the best you can do. You cannot drag your mother out of the marriage. You cannot drag your father out of the marriage where he is being abused or where she is being abused. The only thing that you can do is offer the help. If the help is not received, just let them be. Just let them be. When the time is right, because even if you call the police, and then she is dragged out of that place, she'll go and stay for 3 months, and then they'll be back together. And then maybe you used your resources. You see? Until the day she decides by herself that it's time for me to walk away, that's the time it's going to work. What you can do is continue offering suggestions, continue offering help. But don't let it stress you as much. You may not really ignore when your parent is being abused at your watch and you can see it happen. You cannot really be able to ignore that. You cannot pretend it is not happening, but you can try to understand that the person you are worried about is an adult. And those two guys have been in that relationship way before you were born. So if she is deciding to stay, there's something she knows that you don't. So let her be. If he is deciding to stay, it is because there is something he knows about the abuser that you don't. So let them be. Just focus on you, because your life should not stop so that you can take care of your mother. You should not stop your life so that you can take care of your father who is not ready to receive the help. You can continue suggesting, but you cannot push it down their throat. So focus on your own peace, focus on your own, on your own life, as you also try to give the suggestion and offer the help. But if it is not received, if your help is not welcome, please don't continue pushing it, because that will destroy your relationship with your parents. Utajaribu kupush mama hapa and then atakwambia, toka hapa, just leave me alone. This is my marriage. Go find your own marriage to do whatever you want. This is my marriage, leave me alone. I'm the one who chose your dad. I'm the one who loved your dad. So let me be. So if you continue pushing her to walk away, most likely you are going to also destroy or ruin the relationship that you have with her. So if she is feeling she's not ready to walk away, just let her be. When the time is right, she will. Thank you, Jacinta.
Thank you, Eliud. I can see we still have some hands. Maybe we could give an opportunity to Ochieng first. Ochieng?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Silvana Ochieng. Sorry for bulging in. I'm a student in Kirinyaga University. In your group, in the WhatsApp group where the link was sent, and I got fascinated by the topic because I'm in the road to the same road that I believe that all of us that are in here are moving into, saving ourselves, Team Sisi kwa Sisi, through advocating for the information on matter to do with the gender-based violence. What I wish to add on whatever the great young ladies and young men have spoken about is that the issue to do with the gender-based is not only on the ladies' side. Also the men undergo through that road, and it's a very rough one, because there are norms and cliches in the society that men are not abused, and then when such circumstances occur to them, they feel that they don't want to expose them. They don't want to talk about them simply because they are men. It's believed that way. But what I'd wish to tell all of us is that once we speak out, once we come together and advocate for the voices to be heard and the right way of solving issues, I think we can save a lot of souls out there. Also, another thing that is the main problem, or part of the problem of things with the gender-based violence, is lack of information. you're finding like the parents, for example, maybe a mother or in a relationship that is abusive one where the father beats her up, and then she has nowhere to go, and then there's a belief from the traditional community, the traditional African society, that there's nowhere that is safe. So they'll just come to this marriage with the notion that things will get better. But then as the days goes by, it only worsens. That can even lead to the demise of this person. Therefore, I want to believe that through enlightening these people, we can help save them. I'm into this because, personally, I've not been into such a scenario, but I'm in the road to advocating for wellness of the society. That's why I saw the link and I got fascinated to join and here. Although I joined late, but I believe that you are doing a great job out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ochieng. Better late than never, and it's a good mission that you are out there and ready to serve or help others. Yeah, so Rose, your hand is up.
I just wanted to add on what Elliot has said, and I advise Cecilia, not to continue holding the grudges, not to continue holding the grudges upon the grudges to her stepfather. She should move on with her life and leave her mother. That is her mother's life. Her mother has chosen that kind of life. If she continues advising her mother, and her mother doesn't want to get out of the abusive relationship, the abusive marriage, she should build on her own emotions, because once she goes home and she continues witnessing the abuse, she might even end up hitting the stepfather and committing a crime. So she should, apart from healing emotionally, she should also be cautious, because those are triggers. She should avoid the triggers, because the triggers can lead into something else, which is criminal matters.
Thank you, Rose. Before I give it to Elliot, let me hear Ian. Your hand is up.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So, from the Bible, it says, Ezekiel 18, that no one will suffer because of the sin of the other. The son or the daughter cannot suffer because of the sin of the father or the mother. And the righteousness will be rewarded by righteousness. So what I can tell our sister, Cecilia, be free, feel very okay, feel empowered, remain firm, remain in Christ, don't even lose hope, feel very okay. And then, one word that I can leave you with, that don't and never forget your parents. They may do whatever they can do for you, but to clean your hands, to keep yourself from the sin from your parents, just show them love. Maybe one parent, maybe let me say your father, may not be ready to receive that love, but don't show neglect to them. Just show them love. Remain showing them love, even if they don't want it, so that at least you will not be in a position to be questioned why that you went away from your parent. Then to the team, Eric and the moderator, thank you very much for this session. And I would like to suggest at least you create another session like this one, maybe next week, next year, then so that at least we continue empowering one another. You know, it is always said that you may put one post, receive like 3 likes, maybe it was a meeting, an invite. When you go to invite, you find a crowd of 1,000. But when you look at the likes, they are only 3. What does that mean? in a social media, when you post something in a social media, very many people are watching, but those who respond are very few. Thank you, very important.
Thank you, Ian. Eliud.
All right, thank you. I feel like I should also start this with thank you, very important. Thank you so much, my brother, for that. That was very, very good, very nice. So what I wanted to say, there was another question about how best can you handle depression. Sorry, I didn't mention on that. But the reality of depression is this. Depression is the opposite of suppression. So when so when you there's so much emotions that are being zinafugiwa ndani, and you do not let them you don't let them go, then when you hold on to so many things, then you become depressed. So when you're in a state of depressed, that you're not engaging yourself, you're not involving yourself in activity and all that, you're most likely going to get depressed. So you need to start living in the present moment, because the people who mostly get depressed are those people who are either living tomorrow or living yesterday. You're so much worried and stressed by what happened yesterday and what happened 10 years ago and 20 years ago, such that you are still suffering it today. You are also very anxious about something that has not happened, it's going to happen tomorrow or next year, and so that also brings you depression. But if we can learn to just appreciate the present moment and live in the present moment, then that is the ultimate healing for depression. However, science suggests so many other ways. If it is extreme, you can take antidepressant. Make sure that you are doing exercise. Make sure that you are not idle. Make sure that you are engaged. And the most important thing, make sure that you are healing the root cause of the depression. Don't just heal the symptoms. Heal the root cause. Get to understand, where is this coming from? What is the real depth of this depression? And then that way you are going to heal it. So one of the best way that I always suggest when it comes to depression, learn to not worry yourself about what happened, and learn not to have an anxiety for things which have not happened. Because what happened, you cannot control it. It has already happened. What is yet to happen, there's nothing you can do to make it happen differently, because you don't know even what is exactly is going to happen. Your mind only has the power to know what is happening right now. Your mind has no power to know what is going to happen in the next moment. So when you are anxious about rejected in a relationship, in a job interview, what is going to happen when I do this, what is not going to happen, when you are worried about all those things, you become depressed. When again you are attached to so many things, you are attached to your kids. If your kids leave, now your life is over. That's an attachment. You are attached to your husband, to your spouse. If this guy leaves me, my life is over. That's another dangerous thing. You are attached to your job. If I'm fired today, my life is over. So stop getting attached, so closely attached and strongly attached to people and things, and you'll never be depressed. So those are some of the ways that I can suggest. But also, if you feel you cannot be able to help yourself out of it, always seek help. We are here. As Newness Counseling Organization, even Light Up Hope, there are counselors. You just speak out. Find the right people to talk to. Find the right people to address what you are going through too, and you get the help. The reason why most people don't get the help they need is because they always go to the wrong people, friends, co-workers, and then they laugh at you, they spread your stories as rumors, and then by the end of the day, you are the one who is trending. And you are trending because you shared your pain with someone, hoping that they will help you. So if you have depression, please, you better seek help so that the counselor can help you to dig deeper into that problem. Back to you, Jacinta.
Thank you. I can see we have Simeon.
Hello, good evening. Okay, so what I can tell Cecilia, I don't know if you're getting me.
Yes, we are clear. We can get you.
Okay. So what I wanted to tell Cecilia, because from also what I've shared, I work with the Sitsevas organization network, and we have gender assemblies. Most of the time we talk with women, asking them the challenges they face, because it's a grassroots network working with the women because they're the custodians of seeds. And then you'll hear a lady saying, oh, we are beaten by our men, but it's our community, because most of them, they come from Baringo, and with them, the domestic violence is still there and they're embracing it. So what I could tell Cecilia, if the mother is okay, she can't change her past, but she can change her future. So with the steps she has moved right now, I see she's progressing very well. She should just build on herself and make sure, one thing she should ensure is that she should make sure that she builds a relationship right now, so that her kids will not go through what she went.
Simon, I'm losing you, or is my network?
We can't hear you clearly, Simeon.
Thank you so much for watching live on Facebook, on YouTube. So I think you're almost done with the webinar. So I decided today not to quit the live.
I think we lost him.
You can continue hearing the conversation in the webinar.
From what he was saying, somehow he was encouraging Cecilia, but
you can leave a comment
he can chat if he comes back. Munira, your hand is still up. I don't know if you wanted to add on what you had said. Munira? Okay. She had contributed. Maybe she forgot to lower her hand. I can see time has really moved, but we are grateful that you have been patient all this time. And I want to convey my gratitude to all of you. Some of you have been here from Monday, and I want to appreciate your presence. I want to appreciate the presence of Mary, Jacinta, and above all, Dr. Eliud, who has been here sharing his knowledge with us. I thank you and I wish you all well. I pass it back to Jacinta.
Thank you so much, Amasela. My name is Jacinta. I don't know. Let me just introduce myself while we are closing, because I can see there is a number of us who we have not known. My name is Jacinta. I'm a mental health services lead at Light Up Hope. I'm glad to host this kind of a forum for the last 5 days. Thank you so much for you all for participating, keeping it lively. No single day since Monday yenye tulimaliza mkutano on time or else in time, because you guys have been ever engaging through and through. So we're so grateful. So anybody, if you have other maybe forums zenye zinaendelea na maneno ya gender-based prevention activism, you will be sharing with me maybe the links. We join. I share with my girls. We join and journey with you together. So as for us as Light Up Hope, we would like to drop at this point, and thank you so much for the support. Looking forward to having you in other forums. We do run such forums again and again, and actually this one hit differently. I'm glad to say this one actually hit differently, and we are very grateful. Let me invite one of the Light Up beneficiaries. I will just check randomly. Susan Wairili nakuona. Come and give vote of thanks. Susan, I saw you. Susan Wairili. Rachel, are you there? Oh yes. Vote of thanks. By
Hello everyone.
Hello.
First of all, I want to thank the organizers of this forum. Jacinta, thank you so much for constantly reminding us to join these meetings and forums. Yeah, I know for some of us, creating time to join for all that days, from Monday to today, creating time. Sometimes it's hard because, yeah, I remember on Tuesday I slept off before joining, but luckily I had an alarm, so I joined late. But yeah, all I want to say is that we are grateful that this forum is available for all of us. Yeah, and then for everyone who was willing to share their stories, thank you so much. I know that it takes courage and being brave to air out whatever you've gone through, and we appreciate it. Cecilia, thank you so much for sharing that. For some of us who are not able to talk about it, and maybe we happen to go through the same, yeah, I know that we've got courage, and maybe next time in another forum, we'll be able to share that. And then to the speakers, Mr. Eliud and Madam Marcella, thank you so much for the contribution. Yeah, we don't take this for granted. You guys giving us all this, we appreciate it. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you so much. And yes, for anyone who has a connection, to other forums that also talking about the same, please invite us so that we can, knowledge, we cannot rely on one source. So yeah, I guess if we have other links that talk about the same topics, I know that we'll be able to learn a lot. So yeah, continue sharing with us, and yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Clap for my girl as you exit at your own leisure. Thank you so much. Sorry, Madam Munira. Munira's hand is up. Madam Munira, just contribute and close it, because people are just leaving now. Munira, you can wait for Munira kidogo. Munira, unmute and talk to us. Huh?
I think she contributed. Maybe she forgot to lower her hand.
Oh, if so, it's well. Just exit. Just exit.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone who was watching me live on YouTube. Asanteni sana, nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful for sticking around to the end of this live stream. So remember, you are a champion of making sure that we end gender-based violence. We need to be very careful the people that we are engaging with, the people, the kind of relationships that we are engaging in, so that we don't find ourselves in situations and circumstances where we are going to regret decisions and choices that we made. So thank you so much. I'm really wishing you all the best for the rest of the night. That is it. That's the end of our this week sessions. We had sessions all the way from Monday. Unfortunately, I was only able to go live 3 times. So you can just visit my YouTube channel, and on the section of live stream, you'll be able to see the video that we did on Monday, on Wednesday, and now today. So thank you so much. Osho, sikia mpaka nimeanza kusema Osho instead of saying also. So also you can subscribe to this channel, leave a comment as you go, and then that's the end of it. So thank you so much. In case I have any other live streams that I'm doing, be sure I'll get you engaged, I will involve you, and I will notify you through the YouTube channel or through the platforms like WhatsApp. Asanteni sana. Have a good night. Yeah, so before I leave, you can leave any question. If you have any question, any personal issue you feel you'd like to heal from, just reach out to me and I'm going to help you. So if you have depression, stress, anything that is bothering you in your life, just reach out and I'm going to help you. If you'd like to invite me in any platform, any gathering or event, I'll be there to talk about mental health. Thank you so much. I just felt it's necessary for me to talk about that before we leave. Having 3 eyes, we're concluding a live stream that was 1 hour 40 minutes long. It's a blessing. So having 3 people still watching all the way from the beginning to the end, that is indeed a blessing. So thank you so much everyone, and asanteni sana. I wish you can leave your comment hapo chini ukitoka ndio nijue ni nani hawa watatu ambao wamesimama na mimi all the way to the end. However, I'm grateful. I hope you benefited from our session today. Have a good night.